Hello again. Andy Wiseman was kind enough to suggest that I talk about 60 plus year old cyclists, enthusiastic cyclists, and on that basis I thought, well, we'll maybe talk about older cyclists. And I've really actually struggled quite a lot with this, not because I don't understand or know how it's better to, how things change as you get older, but because I think the actual individual characteristics of each person are more relevant than how old somebody is. And I think this also follows for female athletes and any other like disabled athletes as well. Like I used to coach Karen Dark, Paralympic champion at Rio in the hand cycling, and she made an interesting statement to me one time. We were discussing disabilities and things, and she said, well, actually I think everybody's got some sort of disability, and that's an important point, that we're all individuals. We've all got good things, we've all got certain advantages, but we've also got certain disadvantages. So the important thing is to think about yourself, what do you need, and bear in mind that things change with time. So as you get older, you slow down, you recover slower, you might find it harder to build muscle mass, you might lose muscle mass. But it's what that means for you that's important. Another story actually, I used to do a lot of running, as you probably know if you watch these videos regularly. And one of my friends had started running a lot better, and we're having a chat in the cafe or at the pub, I'm not sure where, and somebody asked him, well, what have you done, what have you changed? And he said, basically I've just gone back to what I used to do and forget about the fact you're getting older and trying to account for age. And that can be a really good strategy, because you're still the same person, you're just slowing down a bit. Or in some cases, there are a lot of people that I'm coaching speeding up a bit. Actually, some people are doing the best times for years just by having a systematic training approach and working well with me, I suppose. So that's a lot of rambling, but there's a few variables that you might consider as you get older. Well, your diet, does your diet have to change? Arguably, you might need a bit more protein because it's harder to build muscle mass. It might help your recovery a little bit. Strength training, well, like I say, muscle mass is harder to maintain, harder to build, easier to lose as you get older. So doing some strength training in theory is a good thing. But do you enjoy it? Do you really need it? And if you're having to skip other training sessions to do your strength training, is that the best way of going about things? Training volume, is it sensible? Is it not sensible? Well, that's the same for everybody. Number of high intensity sessions, well, typically these need to come down a bit as you get older, but then again, I think most people do too many high intensity sessions. And the principles are the same, you need to recover from the last high intensity session before you do another one, or the last block of high intensity sessions before you do the next block of high intensity sessions. The same at like long sessions and high intensity sessions are much the same. In terms of you have to recover from them before you do the next one. And also the frequency with which you can race might change as well, but whether that's an age-related thing or not, I'm not sure. Some people can race every weekend or 2 or 3 times a week, and some people, can 2 or 3 times a year is enough for them. I'm exaggerating a bit there, but you know what I mean. So it's how we balance these variables, the overload, adaptation and recovery, specificity and reversibility, the principles of training, that's important. And trying to stick to some normative thing that because I'm 60 I should be doing this, because I'm 50 I should be doing this, because I'm a beginner I should be doing this, is that's really not the way to go. Try and understand what you're doing, why you're doing it, and adjust the variables for you personally. Well, how do you approach this? Because if you're going to meet your individual needs, you need to know what your individual needs are. You need to know what your fitness is now. You need to know the demands of your event and move from where you are now, your current fitness, to the fitness that you need to meet your goals. A few things are helpful in doing that. Keeping a training diary is really helpful. If you're worried about nutrition, you want to lose weight, or you feel that you're not recovering as well as you might do, then keeping a food diary is very helpful. A personal journal is quite useful as well as a training diary. It's maybe not as systematic, and I don't draw graphs from a personal journal. So I use Training Peaks for training, recording training, analysing training with the other tools that associate with it. And I just make notes on a notepad for a personal journal. And even though it's not so systematic. You do pick up on things and think, oh well, I probably should look into that or change that, or I wonder if this happens. And it's a good way of recording things and sort of evaluating the process in a slightly more objective way. And once you've got all this sort of process in place, then having a standard training week is really useful. So it might be Monday recovery, Tuesday something fairly easy, an easy spin to get used to getting active again after your rest day, intervals on Wednesday, a longish run on Thursday, an easy day on Friday, and then you're into your weekend. In terms of nutrition, I like Anita Bean's books. They have some actionable numbers. You can, if you keeping a track of your eating in a food diary, then you can check that against the numbers that she puts in, the protein recommendations, carbohydrate recommendations, and they're very straightforward and simple to understand. She also looks into supplements and things like that in many of her books. I briefly mentioned strength work, and it is a good idea to do some strength work if you can. How you fit that into your day is a bit tricky. It's always a compromise in training because you can't do everything. So the current way of thinking is to make hard days hard and easy days easy. So if you did an interval session, for instance, you might do the strength session on the same day if you've got time and energy. But if that doesn't work for you, then obviously you have to fit it in somewhere else. But if you are fitting it in on a different day, try not to make all your days medium. So you're still wanting the highs and lows of hard day, easy day, or hard day, easy day, or something like that, whatever routine works for you. And finding this routine that works for you is really important and really useful. In fact, it's much more useful than having a long-term training plan towards your goals. Actually having this, knowing that a certain, what you do on a Monday, what you do on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, works for you week on week is more important than anything really, in my opinion, in terms of getting yourself fit. It's a really good way of figuring out what works and what doesn't work, so you can make incremental changes, like you can make small changes to your diet. You can try riding. If you're normally doing an hour session, you can try doing 90 minutes on one of the sessions, increasing the load. And as a consequence, then you've got a feel for whether you can handle a bit more load, whether it makes your fitness better or it makes your fitness worse. So once you've got your diary and your weekly routine, and it's all going nicely, it's worth tracking how nicely it's going. So writing some subjective metrics. You can even just make notes in your journal, your personal journal, and if things start to be trending, say like I feel a bit grumpy this morning, then that's all useful input to you. To whether things need to change a bit, whether you need to back off a bit. You can take resting heart rate in the morning, and in the evening. Heart rate variability is quite useful nowadays to give you some sort of hard metrics and look at the trends of those. The trends are much more important really than the absolute values, because some days it can be up, some days it can be down, but the trends are really useful. And if things are trending the wrong way, you're feeling grumpy, your HRV is going down, your resting heart rate is going up, then it's probably time for a rest. Take a couple of days off first. If that doesn't work, take a week off. If that doesn't work, then you need to rethink your training to sort of back down to some sort of baseline level, which you've probably heard me talk about in previous videos. So you're just doing something easy every day until you start feeling more enthusiastic and things are working again for you. But in that way, you can track things week on week, day by day, and build your fitness gradually and move towards your goals just by making your key sessions. Say you want to do an ultra endurance event, build up the duration of your long ride. Once you've got your long rides or long runs at the durations that you need, then start introducing some speed work and back off the longer stuff. If you want to build your FTP, do FTP sessions. Similarly, if you want to try and build your VO2 max, then do VO2 max sessions, which will also help your FTP. If you've got any tips to share, then please let us know in the comments or send me an email if you've got any questions or whatever. As I said, I hope you find it useful, because I found it quite a difficult one to do. I'm still not sure about it, but I hope it was useful. And Claire actually wrote a blog article, if you look on our website, about how to deal with old age as it catches up on you. Anyway, hope you like it. See you in the next one. Bye.